Tracking a significant pattern change as well as breezy conditions, bringing us an elevated fire danger. I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods, and we are on the tail end of what has been an oppressive heat stretch. Unfortunately, we've also been dealing with some lightning and some lightning-sparked fires. This one is the Gold Complex fire in Plumas County. Now you can see the location just north of the Tahoe Basin. And that is going to continue to be something that firefighters are trying to aggressively attack, especially in the background of the heat that we've been dealing with all the dried out fuel. So those fires spreading rather quickly, especially also that we've been dealing with numerous thunderstorms, those outflow boundaries, creating those wind shifts and the wind that's also going to be elevating that fire danger in through tomorrow. So today's really the day to get the upper hand on that fire there. As you can see, the lightning strikes have mainly been east of the crest. We had a cluster around the Yosemite area in the Central Sierra. Most of this quieting down for tonight. Good news there because that big plume of moisture has been really surging up through the Sierra Spine the past couple of days. As far as tomorrow's forecast, most of those showers and thunderstorms just east of the crest once again, but along 395 dealing with periods of some difficult travel, especially in those heavy downpours. Now this will be about the tail end of that action as well as we start to track this pattern shift. Again, this low coming in from the Pacific is what's going to be changing that really oppressive high pressure ridge that's been over us, bringing the excessive heat throughout the valley. Numerous records falling, but we've got one more day with this heat advisory in play throughout the valley and towards the coastal range as well. Wednesday evening is when that expires. Highs tomorrow, though, still from 102 to 110. Heat and illness still very possible. Modifying outdoor activities can certainly help to limit the potential for some of those heat illnesses. As far as our almanac for today, it was a warm start to the day, near 80 for downtown Sacramento. That got us to 110 degrees, just 1 degree shy of tying the record for the day. 107 for Sacramento Executive, starting the day off at 75. Stockton, our high, 109, and Modesto, 108 as we travel through the northern San Joaquin Valley. Again, very warm overnight lows. But that 110-degree day for downtown Sacramento will add to the heat record that we already actually broke on July 12th when we hit our 4th day at 110 degrees. Today, the 5th day. Now, the previous record was set a couple times at 3 days in 1925, 1996, 2021, and 2022 when we had 3 days at 110 degrees for the year. Today, we marked our 5th for 2024. And again, we still have August to go, which can be a very hot month. And the all-time record high, by the way, for downtown Sacramento was hit in September, just a couple of years ago. So it's very possible we could be adding to that number right there. Here's the rundown, and you can see the months of June and July, very, very hot. Highs were ranging in the 100s starting in June. And then we had a couple of breaks in there, but overall, most of this map is covered in the deep 100s here, 26 days above average. As far as July heat alone, our average high so far, 104.3 degrees. The average low so far, 67.8. Here's the normal averages, 94.5 for the month. We are 10 degrees above that. And as far as that low, contributing to some of the heat illness that we've had to deal with over the past couple of weeks here. Normal average low, 61.6. Unfortunately, we've had 2 heat-related deaths so far this year. A lot of that comes in play because of those overnight lows being so warm. Our bodies just aren't getting the break overnight that we would normally get. Average lows typically run in the upper 50s, so we are sitting well above that. Well, the 100s, they are back. As you can see, we started off with morning lows in the 70s, and now we're warming those highs into the 100s. So one more day of this. Sunrise 6:01, our sunset at 8:23. It certainly is nice when that sun goes down and we start to get in just a little trickle of a breeze. But that breeze is going to be much more significant even in the next 24 hours. So the next 24 to 48 hour period is when we're going to have that elevated fire danger due to the increasing winds. We've got 2 lows that are going to be working in conjunction with each other to really amplify some of those winds coming in from the Pacific. So that weather impact alert headline is going to largely focus on the increasing winds as well as the elevated fire danger Wednesday into Thursday for the valley, the foothills, and the Delta. That breeze will be nice because it will start to kind of shift things around a little bit for us. But again, right through the coastal range through the west side of the valley, and then the Delta is where we're going to see the most significant risk of those winds elevating the fire danger. And then we repeat that again on Thursday. Here's a look at our significant fire potential for Wednesday. We're still at high risk because of the thunderstorms, the abundant lightning, gusty winds, and that is especially true on that northeast corner of California. Here's a look at the energy release component. For the valley and the parts of the foothills, you can see how we're still running in that extreme burn potential. We will see some cooler weather, so the forecast is going to hold for this, coming down just a little bit with our current energy release component sitting at 71.50%. And that's going to keep us in that threshold there for extreme burn potential, at least for the time being, until we get that cooler weather coming our way. Fire season comparisons, and this is as of today. We are well ahead pace of what we were last year at this point. We only had 22,000 acres burned. We are over 275,000 acres burned. So 22,000 acres year to date last year, over 275,000 this year. Not so much of a significant difference for the fires burning, but as far as the acreage, again, 2 wet years, very little fuel burn last year means a lot to burn this year. As far as the 5-year average, we're ahead of that pace as well. We're pretty close to what we usually average for the amount of fires, but the acreage is nearly double of what we usually see at this point in the year. So preventing a spark, keep in mind mowing lawns, not dry grass. Also metal plus rocks equals sparks. And then chains, make sure they're secure. This is a big time to do some traveling. Perhaps you got a trailer behind you, or you're just doing some yard work and maybe you got a trailer behind, just trailing some of that equipment. Just make sure that those chains are secure. Again, our winds for tomorrow are really going to come in quite significantly during the afternoon, with our temperatures that have been holding in the 100s with 26 days above the average. That means that we have been having a long stretch of this type of heat. Knowing the signs of those heat illnesses is really critical. Time and time again, I've been out at different events and I've been seeing one person or another go down. I almost fell victim to it myself on Saturday. It really kind of sneaks up. I've been asking our reporters as well, who are out reporting on just even different stories than the heat. And they said, yeah, it just kind of sneaks up on you as you spend more and more time outside. So if you're thirsty, dizzy, nauseated, that's kind of in that heat exhaustion category, as well as cool, clammy skin, sweating a lot. Now, when it takes a step in the wrong direction, meaning it becomes a bit more severe, that's heat stroke, headache, red, hot, dry skin, and no sweating. That is a situation. Call 911. Want to get that person immediate emergency attention. The good news here is we will see some relief. We're coming out of that heat risk category, so we're no longer in that major and extreme category by the weekend. In fact, we start to cool below average. We haven't seen 80s in a stretch like this since the middle of June. So we're still near 100 for the State Fair forecast on Thursday. Friday, we dropped to the low 100s, and then we're in the 80s Saturday and Sunday, and you can see it here. Our contours starting to shift out of the orange and into the blue. Nice to see that big pull from the Pacific, bringing us a nice break in this heat. It's all courtesy of that low that's moving its way in from the Pacific. And again, a little low just off the coast here, which will really start to suppress that high, kind of move it off to the east. So that's making a return to the 80s for us. Our average monthly high temperature actually starts to decrease. So we've passed the peak where we see our average high around 95 degrees. And month by month, we kind of chip away at those average highs, getting us back to near 90 by the time we get to September. Now, I say that, and then our Climate Prediction Center is saying in the next 8 to 14-day climate outlook, it looks likely warmer. And add to that, we actually have a slight risk of excessive heat for the first week of August. So we're almost there, just not quite yet. Highs in the 80s for tomorrow for the Sierra, with 90s and 100s in the foothills. And we're still tracking highs in the 70s along the coast, as well as 90s inland, close to 100 still, even with that trickle of an onshore flow. 100s widespread throughout the valley for our Wednesday forecast. But that's going to be about it as far as the widespread 100s. We're in the 80s for the Sierra tomorrow, tracking that slight chance of thunderstorms, cooler for the weekend and dry. Highs will be close to 100 tomorrow for the foothills, and then we'll start to drop our highs into the 90s, eventually into the 80s this weekend. For the coast, we're calling for highs in the 70s tomorrow, and then it's 60s with quite a bit of low cloudiness on Saturday. Weather impact alert will stay in play for our Wednesday forecast, and then we start to drop those temperatures, and that'll get us back into the 80s for Saturday and Sunday. And like I said, this is going to be short-lived because we're back into the 100s by next week as we kick off the new month. But it's lower 100s, not quite as oppressive as what we've been seeing. So we'll see that nice stretch of 80s over the weekend, kind of perfect timing for all this. You can get more in-depth forecasts and explainers, weather specials, just like what we've been seeing. Our Emmy award-winning weather special, The Future of California's Water, is on our ABC 10 Plus app. You can download that, watch it for free on Apple TV, Roku, and Fire TV.